Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Wednesday the 24th of June.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Reading is fundamental, and we talk to those who are making sure Rwanda's literacy rate goes up.
Young innovators steal the show at this year's Hack Out Loud event.
And they're said to be man's best friend, and this organization is connecting them with families all over town.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the latest news, sports, and business headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team with us in studio right now. Fidelis, what do we have in the world of business?
Well, in business, I attend the Hack Out Loud event, and what these young innovators are doing makes you wonder what are you doing in your life. I was there feeling miserable.
Did you come out of there pumped?
All you need to know is I'm going to develop an app like tomorrow. I'm not even joking.
The Fifi app is coming near you.
Downloaded it already. Already downloaded it. Okay.
Will it have shopping as one of those things?
It'll be something about money. Arnold, what do we have in the world of sports?
Yeah, a lot of playoffs going on this week. Again, I'm going to look at the Super Rugby playoffs that are coming over the weekend. And we look at the FIFA Women's World Cup. You guys, have you been watching women's football?
Yes, all the time.
I'm super excited about this.
Okay, looking forward to that. All of that and more is still to come. But first, Rise and Shine, story of the day.
It is well known that illiteracy hampers development and affects people's livelihoods. The government of Rwanda, in conjunction with several partners, has initiated programs aimed at eradicating illiteracy. And many Rwandans have also taken matters in their own hands, making sure underprivileged Rwandans also have access to books. Take a look. Access to education is one of the fundamental rights for any human being, and as we all know, no one should be deprived of it. Literacy opens up new horizons and new ways of seeing things.
We realized the need to promote the culture of reading, and there was also a lack of materials for especially underprivileged children and young adults. We believe that, first and foremost, the citizenry of Rwanda needs to be informed, and there's no other way you can get informed unless you have hunger for knowledge. Like Dr. Seuss said, he said all the places you can go in a book. Yeah, so we believe that if we promote the culture of reading, we'll be putting a long-lasting impact in terms of being able to gather information for Rwandans.
Efforts to promote digital literacy in the country have received a major boost in the past years, and Rwanda has become an ICT pioneer on the continent. But nothing will ever replace a good old book.
Growing up, my mom used to drop us at these embassies so that we can, read. They had libraries. But we didn't have a national library just yet, while I was growing up. So it was hard to get materials. It was, challenging. I always had the thirst. I always wanted to read. I always wanted to be able to explore, because I believe that through a book, a person can do a lot, can know a lot.
I come every day because I'm in my holidays currently, and I really like this library. It's not so fancy like some other libraries. You can just come here and be free and find any book you'd like. As I advanced, I wanted more stories and more knowledge and more literacy and get to know more stuff. Then at my school, they allow us to borrow books. Then I'd borrow a book and read it and read it. Then now I have a library. I have all the books I need, and I can read. I have a wide variety to choose from.
This is kind of our tribute, or giving back to our community, telling them, what, we got it, and it served us a lot.
Books are like good friends, and you can never have too many, and you get so much things very many things from books. I just wish everybody would get the feeling I get when I have a good book and I'm just free and I'm in peace and quiet and I can read.
It's great to see Rwandans embracing reading. Regisi Sheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining me in studio now is Hiro Nkubito Shyaka, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer at Imagine We Rwanda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Regis.
All right, now, we've emphasized enough on the fact that literacy helps kids a lot. But now, let's talk about the Rwanda of today. The elders, the fact that they do not, some of them do not get to actually read the books they should be reading, and we all know that being literate is truly important to the development of our country, but also to expanding your horizons. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the reading culture, mainly it's not really active in Rwanda because we used to oral telling of our history. Like people tell stories from grandfathers to the children, right, and so on and so forth. So people have actually mastered the art of just cramming the story. And I mean, why should I waste my time read the stories when we all know the story, right?
I remember when we were kids, I'm pretty sure this happened to you as well. We used to go to our grandparents and, you know, the whole gusa kuza, and all these things were very important. You learn a lot traditionally and orally from that. These days, a lot of smartphones, a lot of, you know, ICT has taken over, so computers here and there. What is missing to get people to actually understand that books are that much important in their lives?
I think, first of all, it's the atmosphere. Like, I've seen libraries in Rwanda that are really tensed up, you know. Kids are in there, they're like, okay, not even kids are in there. People think this looks like a high office, right? Looks very sophisticated, like I can't enter there, who am I, you know? Those are for, you know, people who are this and this class.
A certain level, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
A certain level, yeah. So actually that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make people relaxed about it, you know. We're trying to make them realize that books are fun. That's why we actually chose to put certain books that have movies, you know, so that people realize that actually, as much fun as the movie is, the book can as well be that much fun, you know? Yeah.
And now the reading culture in itself, I mean, you've been other places, you've seen how people read a lot on public transportation and things of the sort when they're waiting for the doctor, in waiting areas. Do you think we should bring that to in Rwanda? Do you think we should have that kind of culture to make sure that people are actually aware, even if you don't want to pick up a book, well, you'll see one in front of you. It might make you curious about finding out what's in the book, so to speak.
Well, I was about to laugh when you said, you know how people go to the hospital and see books and all that?
Right.
But good enough, you said it's not there, right?
Right.
Well, I think another problem that we have is the content. Yeah, so many times people have irrelevant content for particular groups of people, yeah? So you have, say, you only have very political content on the table, and you might find all a child needs is some magazine about cartoons, kids like them, or another old person really wants to find out about, say, opportunities in certain other fields they're dealing with. You know, people love different kinds of things. You know, you should make reading material so diverse
and broad.
Yeah,
broad. They should have broader opportunities. Now, this is a question I will actually ask you, even if we're on camera. You know how in Rwanda radio is really important, and you have people always with radios to their ear.
Yeah.
What is it going to take to have everybody have a newspaper in their hands, or just a regular and average book? What is it going to take?
Well, it's going to take us, first of all, to understand that the culture being not so old here, we have to start with, say, small volumes, you know? Work with little things that people can relate with. I love the idea of things like Nyampinga. You know, it's something that people can, you know, get interest to read because they're dealing with people they know and all that. Yeah, so basically if we could try to customize it in a way that suits and fits the Rwandan people's needs.
Now here's the question, you're probably going to hit me for this. Rwandan authors. We've had Rika Rukigamba on the show. She came out with a book not too long ago. I feel like there's not that many Rwandan authors, and the language in itself, Kinyarwanda, is very rich. Yeah. What's missing?
Well, the writing culture comes hand in hand with the reading culture, because if you've not had an experience, if you've not read, I don't know what's going to actually push you to write.
Right.
That's as well. We think it's also good. Well, we're organizing a readathon and a competition where people read, compete, and the kids that read more pages and all that will win. But at the same time, we think it's important that we do a write-a-thon. And for instance, I'll give you a real quick clue, yeah, how you can work out something.
Right.
If people can learn how to spontaneously come up with stories, yeah, they could maybe, we'll teach them how to arrange them, yeah, and like that probably would come up with a good, maybe we'll get more authors in the future. At the same time, if you read books, that's how you find out about how other authors have done it before.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to support, when it comes to help, whether the private sector or the government of Rwanda, are you getting any kind of help? I know you have a library yourself.
Okay. Well, I'll take you a bit back. Last year, Tigo and Reach for Change organized a competition, and it was for youth initiatives.
Right.
So that's where we also began pitching this particular idea, and then we emerged the winners. Now that's positive. It shows that actually so many other people think that's a need here. Yep. So like I've just said, there's that Tigo, Reach for Change, they're in for that. We've had a couple of other people, African International Organization, there's important ladies, they really helped.
Right. Now, what I like about Imagine We Rwanda is when we actually came to film, you have kids there and you will imagine they're only reading books, they're only going through comic books, but it's not that.
Yeah.
They're also figuring out puzzles, and you guys are helping them figure out those puzzles. Tell us a little bit about that. Why is it important to help them figure out those puzzles?
Okay, well that one happened because they needed the help. What happened was, initially we planned to do a really simple project, right? Reach out to schools, organize a competition, reading, then the winners, we award a scholarship,
Right,
okay?
right.
But then we realized, first of all, there weren't enough reading materials. I mean, relevant reading materials, yeah? Excuse me. We had libraries were packed with science textbooks, they were packed with mathematics textbooks. And kids find this really boring sometimes.
Heavy.
We have to be
Heavy
honest
to
about
digest,
it.
right.
You remember when you were in school, it was...
You didn't really necessarily like
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, you can't read numbers for so long, yeah? So we went ahead to start giving books now, yeah? We went to schools and we have a line of schools we're still distributing, so we give free books so that at least they have leisure books that will arouse their interest to read. So now, basing on that, when we realized that there weren't also enough materials, we decided we couldn't have a working place that didn't have such materials.
Right.
Because we had to provide something for the community where we worked. So fortunately, where we went to work, the neighborhood was full of mainly, if I could say, many Rwandans are below the poverty line, yeah.
But it was really bad.
But it was quite bad.
Well,
yeah.
what you guys are doing is truly amazing, Hero, and we really, truly appreciate it. Your name is Hero. That's very telling in itself. All right, my friend. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay.
All right, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. We'll be right back after the break.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to today's business news. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. Rwanda and Germany have signed a financial agreement worth 69 million euros that will go towards sustainable economic development, decentralization, and good governance of the country. The agreement, which was signed by Minister of Finance and Economic Planning Ambassador Claver Katete and German Ambassador to Rwanda, Ambassador Peter Franzenholz, is expected to provide financial support to help sectors of the economy such as job creation and public financial management. This is also in alignment with the country's second economic development and poverty reduction strategy. And the government has allocated over 120 billion Rwandan francs towards projects designed to increase agricultural production in the 2015-2016 fiscal year. According to the budget, special attention will be on improving post-harvest facilities, agro-processing, hillside irrigation, and water harvesting. Officials say this investment will help boost productivity and also help the private sector to make reasonable investments into the sector. Now, just last week, one of the biggest product launch events was held in Rwanda, organized by Hey Labs and its African Research and Innovation Lab based in the country. And we attended this action-packed event that attracted over 200 people to find out what it was all about. Take a look. Every year at the Hack Out Loud event, Hey Labs takes the opportunity to showcase mobile technology solutions that it has been working on within a countrywide network of product development labs. The company that is so far based in 6 high schools and 1 university, working with nearly 100 youth, has given many people a platform to develop various apps that can easily be incorporated into our daily lives. And I have to say, it's quite a fresh an app that helps people to know about all the driving rules and regulations was definitely one of my favorites.
We came up with this fresh app, which is helping people to know all about the road codes and these things, and it can be more easily. You can get it easily and smooth, and it's sweet to read, like not having the big book to read from the National Gazette.
Genius, right? I like to think so. And if you think that was impressive, what was even more impressive was the huge number of girls who were fast at work explaining to people about the apps they've developed. In an industry that's normally male-dominated, I was curious to find out how they're able to stand their ground and stand out as well as they were.
Why I love the fact that I'm a girl is because I am inspired to prove to the community that whatever the sex, then you can do what you want to do. So I was driven to Gashora. I wanted so bad to go to Gashora Girls Academy. But to me, to be in Gashora, I am not under rules, so they give me freedom to do whatever things I want. And so I get to explore everything as much as a boy can do. And whatever I do, I know I have to prove to the community, so I do it the best way I can. And I never tend to waste time doing other things around because I know what my point is.
By building the first ever exclusive digital content store, Hey Labs helps innovators by granting them free access to this store, free data services to run the applications, as well as mentorship programs, all aimed at ensuring that these innovations flourish. But what more is being done to ensure the success of these applications?
What's quite interesting about the applications that are being built is, given the fact that we have already provided them with access to Nuntu, the digital content platform where they can be able to, market their applications, if it's free or if there's a price to it. The students will continue to be able to put their applications in the market and people will use them. From our cohort last year, some of the students had over 100 downloads of their applications that were on Nuntu. But beyond that, what we do is we reach out to stakeholders. Once we realize that the students have a relevant application, or some of the students in our fellowship program at Hey Labs, we connect them to these organizations to actually pilot test their solutions, and then beyond that be able to iterate them to meet the needs of these organizations that they're working with.
As the number of young innovators grows each year, it's easy to say, forget Vision 2020. Rwanda will reach and surpass its ICT targets in no time. Kangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining us now in studio are Muhoza Natasha, the Communications Officer of Hey Labs, and Kanyana Ornella, a 2015 Hey Fellowship graduate. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to start with you, Natasha. We know Hey Labs has already been doing great things. It's been there for 5 years now. We all know where your stations we've visited you before. But why wasn't it important for you guys to start this event, this annual event that happens for these people? What's behind it?
Yes, so our annual Hack Out Loud, which is the name of this event, is in fact a series of events that happens throughout the month of June, whereby it's a process of launching the products that have been being built through Hey Labs, through our various labs stationed in 6 different schools around the country. And it is a time where students and business leaders and potential investors and onlookers can gather in one place, which is why for us it is very, very important to have this event. What we had on Saturday was a grand products launch and innovators graduation, which is the climax of this month-long series of product launches for us. And so it remains, it's the best part for us, because this is the day where we can have all the stakeholders, all the people who can be involved and engage actively in the solutions we're trying to build, can meet, can gather, can explore the possibilities, and you know, and we can see Hehe grow from there. So for us, every year brings on a new challenge, takes its own different shape, and hey, it's meant to be. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Nella, as a participant, as someone who's just graduated from this event, tell us, what was your experience like being part of this event? What did you learn? And how do you think you've grown since you started working with Hehe up to this point?
So, when I look back, when I entered this program, I was kind of a shy person, and right now I've grown like personally, and I've learned some coding. Now I know I'm able to create something that is going to be useful to the society. So this is a great experience that I would like everyone to have, because you don't grow like mentally, you also grow personally. So.
Yeah. And were you able to develop an app of your own as well? And if you did, could you tell us a bit about it?
Cool. Yes, we did create an application, and our application will be solving the problem of unemployment.
Oh, nice.
And we would like to have that application, the one who are looking for employers will be using it so that they can find all the available employers, and they will be engaging them like easily, and they can contact them and see their documents. So the application will be less, and people will be more exposed to the world of employment.
Nice. So that's a genius idea. I mean, you guys are basically, you know, you have geniuses. You're working with geniuses. But you know, as much as these guys are clearly very easy to work with because they're really good at what they do, what are some of the challenges that you face as the organizers of this event while trying to, you know, organize it, get ready for it, have participants come into it? What's the process like for you guys?
So the process really takes, we see the challenges taking different forms over the 6 months when the program begins. And you can see it's in the first big challenge is to get the fellows out of, you know, straight out of high school mindset, and to grow them into what they actually become 6 months later. That remains a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge for us as well. So we see them grow, we see them learn these skills, we see them grow in their ability to present themselves and their ideas, and to challenge themselves, to challenge others. For us, they are our main, you know, we wake up every day to kind of help them move day to day to get to the end of the journey. And then the other challenges really take, you know, finding, you know, trying to get people to believe in this purpose of ours, trying to get investors, trying to get sponsors, trying to get more parties involved in the product development process, like that with us, or invested in the applications that we build, to you know, pour in them financially or in different other ways. But I think all those other things, every kind of support stems from getting people to believe in our purpose and to walk with us on that journey, and to see this grand products launch become more than just an event of the day, but simply a glimpse of, you know, a huger event that has been going on for 6 months and evolving. Yes.
Now, for someone watching our show, and maybe because I know you've also worked with people before who didn't even go to technical school, had no idea how to create an app.
Yes.
So are these the same people that you're still working with, and do you train them on all these things that at the end of the day they end up being like Ornella here and creating apps? And you know, what's the process like for someone who wants to be part of this event?
Yes. You mean part of
what does it take to be
the
part
club
of
program or the fellowship program? Oh yes. One, it takes passion. Two, it takes your willingness to be challenged and to enjoy the journey despite the challenges and difficulties. Three, you know, okay, I said, challenge? I said, I have to repeat this, can we do it? Yeah, I should. I don't know why I got lost, I'm sorry. It takes passion, it takes willingness to be challenged, and it just takes enthusiasm for the program itself. So an understanding of what the program is like and what the program can be like and what you can be like as a person. And really, no, you don't have to have, IT background. Yes. Many of the students that we, interview, because we do go through a series of interviews before we pick out who are the 15, because 15 students in every school or 15 young people make up a lab wherever we are stationed in the different schools. Nice. So, even if you don't have any IT background, as long as you have the passion, the enthusiasm, the willingness to face challenge head on, then you can be in.
So you can take up someone like me who has no idea.
Absolutely, you simply have to be a star in your own way.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys, for coming. And Ornella, wish you all the best. Hopefully you'll develop some more apps, and we look forward to having you again on the show very soon.
Well, we guarantee that you'll be seeing a lot more apps from Hey Lab. But thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome. Well, you're up to date today's business headlines. Sports news coming up next in just a minute to Ano Quizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. Arnold Quizeda. Starting with cycling, Rwanda's only pro cyclist Adrian Niyonshuti and the reigning Tour du Rwanda champion Valence Ndayisenga of Amis Sportif Club are in a bullish mood ahead of the National Cycling Championships, slated from January the 27th to the 28th, the third event of the Rwanda Cycling Cup. Benediction's Javier Hadi, known as the Sprint Master, who has 2 prologue stage wins at the Tour du Rwanda under his belt, and teammate Patrick Vyakusenge will be challenging Ndayisenga in a battle for the coveted crown. Hadi, alongside teammates Jean Bosco Nsenjimana, Jean Biziraimi, and Kamera Hakuzimana, arrived this morning from a month's training at the USA National Team Training Center in Limburg, Netherlands, where they excelled in local races as well as in Belgium. Moving on to football, USA and England are into the FIFA Women's World Cup quarterfinals, but only after both sides survived tough encounters from Colombia and Norway, respectively. In an action-packed 2-0 win in Edmonton, in the end, the outcome was expected, but perhaps the closeness of the contest was more surprising for many, with Colombia attacking their opponents whenever possible and only falling behind following the dismissal of goalkeeper Catalina Perez early in the second half. Ambi Wombach missed the ensuring penalty before second-half strikes delivered by Alex Morgan, and then Carly Lloyd from the penalty spot put the Americans in control. It was, however, a costly win for the Stars and Stripes, with key midfielders Megan Rapinoe and Lauren Holiday set to miss the upcoming contest against the People's Republic of China after collecting yellow cards. And finally, there will be no South African side in this year's Super Rugby semi-finals after the Stormers were convincingly outclassed by the Brumbies at Newland Stadium. A Joey Tomani hat-trick in the first 30 minutes was enough to propel to their second semi-final in 3 years. Australia's Brumbies will now take on table toppers or Hurricanes in the first of the semi-finals, with the second match pitting Highlanders away to defending champions Waratahs.
All right, Arnold. So let's start with rugby first of all. What do you feel is the outcome, and are you satisfied with the outcome to begin with?
As a Stormers fan, no, but I feel these 4 teams that are in this year's Super Rugby Championships semi-finals are the best teams available. They are the best teams throughout the year. When you look at the Hurricanes, you know, the attacking threat of Buden Barrett, TJ Perenara, Julian Savia, these are all black players. They've had a great tournament, and there is a reason why Hurricanes finished as the top seed. Now, the other very entertaining side will be the Highlanders, and I would love to have a final between the Highlanders and the Hurricanes. Aaron Smith and Waiseke Naholo, who has been in the the headlines for the wrong reasons this week, have played fabulous rugby. Waisake Naholo has gone on to make a new Super Rugby record, 12 tries, you know, in a tournament that has only 15 teams. And that's the Fijian speed in him when you compare him to the greats of the likes of John Alomu, when you compare him to the likes of Semekei Vivavatu, who played back in the day, Joey Rokoko. He is that type of winger. When you look at the Stormers, Joey Tomani haunted them in and out in that game, the Brumbies against the Stormers. Nick White is easily the best scrum half in Super Rugby this year, maybe so close to Aaron Smith of the Highlanders. But again, these are the 4 teams that deserve to be in the semi-finals. No South African side, unfortunately, but the 2 Australians and 2 New Zealand teams deserve to be there this year.
All right, let's move on to the FIFA Women's World Cup. Norway and Colombia gave us a scare there. We thought something was going to happen.
Yeah, I was more shocked by the result of Norway-England. You know, 2-1 win for England. England went behind early on in about the 15th minute. Norway are twice world champions. This is a team, when you look at the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, these are the best at women's football, maybe up there with, you would say, the US, who are twice winners in 91 and 1999. But
the Mia Hamm era.
The Mia Hamm era. I think she's the greatest woman football.
Is, absolutely.
Yeah, but the US are back. You know, Alex Wombach. She's up there with Marta, the Brazilian lady, and the German striker. They are the players would look at to change games. Colombia had a good fairy tale run to the tournament. They were unfortunate to go down, a man down, with their goalkeeper coming in for a rushed challenge that earned her a straight red card in that game. But England are still my surprise package going into the tournament. I didn't expect them to come back. They were 1-0 down early on, then they had that equalizer in the 66th minute, and then they went on to nail it in the final minute. I think England and Australia are the 2 surprise packages when we go into the next round in the quarterfinals of this year's Women's World Cup.
All right, we're the 33rd of June. We know cycling is the national sport in Rwanda now.
Apparently.
It looks like football is not up there anymore. Yeah. So this race, what do you expect to see from the race?
It's going to be an interesting race, especially with the first day, the prologue stage that will pass at Biriogo. For all our fans who are watching.
Can you imagine how raucous the crowd is going to be once he passes through Biriogo?
Biriogo to Nyamata and Nyamata back to Biriogo, about 38 kilometers. Now that's where the challenge is, because when you look at Jadi Hadi's team, Jadi Hadi has won the prologue stage, which is the time trials of the Tour de Rwanda for the past 2 years, 2013 and 2014. He is very good at the sprints, and now this is not Nyoshuti and Valence Daisenga's strength. But what they have over him is their ability to last the distance. Now 38 kilometers is in between. It's like putting David Rudisha, who's an 800-meter specialist, and Usain Bolt, good at 200 meters, to do the 400 meters. You know, it's like...
It's half and half.
Half and half.
Usain Bolt can run 400. We know that.
Apparently, he
thought about it too.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very good race. You know, these are Rwanda's best 2 teams. When you look at Benediction team, they have been training in in Belgium and Netherlands at high rate performance levels.
USA trainings,
yes, at the US training camps, and that's very good for Rwandan cycling, because that's a notch higher. But when you look at Valence Daisenga, 21 years old, Tour de Rwanda winner. He has also been training in Switzerland, you know, to prepare for this race. Adrian Nyoshuti comes back from the European circuit, where he has been riding professionally with MTN Kubeka team, the South African-based team, and he has had a great season. He has just come from the Tour of Lebanon. He has done the Tour of Spain and the Tour of Italy, which are close to the Tour de France. Unfortunately, he didn't make the MTN Kubeka team that's going to compete in this year's Tour de France. But him back on the local circuit, this is going to be great for the eyes.
Very encouraging for him, absolutely.
Yeah, so this weekend, action-packed. We have the playoffs, the national basketball playoffs. We have cycling, I think, and the Peace Cup, which is going to be again live on the national broadcast. So we are going to have a great action.
Something tells me you will not be sleeping this weekend.
I'm not sleeping this weekend.
Me neither. I understand totally. Thank you, Arnold.
Thank you, Regis.
All right, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay tuned. News are coming up next.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at newsmaking headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The government of Rwanda has expressed its outrage on the arrest of National Intelligence and Security Services Chief General Karenzi Karake in London. General Karake, who was on official duty, was arrested at Heathrow Airport on Saturday under the European arrest warrant on behalf of Spanish authorities. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Louise Mushikiwabo, called the arrest an outrage, adding that, quote, Western solidarity in demeaning Africans is unacceptable, end quote. Britain's former International Development Secretary Andrew Mitchell said he believed the arrest was a reprehensible abuse of the law and said Karachi's arrest was being used for political reasons and not judicial ones.
MTN Rwanda, together with solar energy firm Mobisol, have completed a project which will provide electricity to 8 rural schools across the country. The move is part of the telecom company's 21 Days of Yellow Care campaign aimed at benefiting disadvantaged communities by focusing on sustainable ICT initiatives through the provision of relevant educational equipment and skills mentoring. Officials said the solar school systems will come with all necessary components to illuminate and power the schools, including wiring, efficient LEDs, mobile phone charging, solar lanterns, televisions, and radios. Rwanda targets to provide 22% of the country's electricity with off-grid means. And in international news, the U.S. has reported that an airstrike in Iraq killed an Islamic State militant linked to the 2012 attack on a U.S. diplomatic compound in Libya. A statement from the Pentagon said Ali Aouni al-Harzi died on the 15th of June in the city of Mosul, which is controlled by IS. He was designated as a terrorist by the U.S. Treasury and State Department. Officials said that the al-Harzi's death degrades ISIL's ability to integrate North African jihadists to the Syrian and Iraqi fight. The 2012 Benghazi attack took the lives of 4 Americans, including the U.S. ambassador to Libya, Christopher Stevens.
Time now for a review of the headlines. Albert Rudatsimburgwa, political analyst of the Great Lakes, joins us now to look through some of the front pages. Welcome back to the show, Albert.
Thank you.
All right, now we're Wednesday morning. Since Monday night, the whole country has been in an uproar. I mean, everybody's mad, everybody's frustrated after hearing that Afande Karenzi Karake, General Karenzi Karake, was stopped at the Heathrow Airport in London and apprehended for crimes. Now, we've read the documents, the Spanish documents. We do not understand exactly what's happening here. Can you enlighten us a little bit?
There are different layers in this story, actually, as you mentioned it. Because the first very question is General Karenzi Karake is the head of the external security of Rwanda, the national NISS. So when somebody like that, of that level, moves to a foreign country, of course, your counterparts are contacted and you agree on the tour, on the where to go, how, who.
That's
to
before
meet.
he leaves the country.
That's before he leaves the country,
Okay.
you know.
Right.
And as you know, he was stopped on his way back.
Right.
So everything has been planned. And again, just to tell people, ever since he's been in office, he's been traveling, and he's been to the UK different times.
Right.
Even last December, when the president was in the UK, I covered the story, and I happened to meet him. So so he's traveling. So
why
now?
Why now?
Right.
But even worse than that, let alone the why now, but did the UK trap Rwanda? Because that guy doesn't move before the other guys know about. So the question is, how do you do everything like that, and then it's like you're trapping somebody, and that is really a problem. On the other hand, it's a bit like the Juge Bruguière's case. first of all, you did well when you mention it. It's a European indictment. It's not even an Interpol indictment.
Right.
Because Interpol indictment, the threshold to get into that list is so. You really have to show tangible things, facts,
real proofs, right?
Real proofs,
right.
For people to be in that list. And they never made it. So it's an easy way that European and I would say old colonial powers, I just give you a call and you can stop somebody for me. This is the level of indictment, So it's really now when you come to the last layer, I would say a bit like Juge Bruguière, maybe it will also be an opportunity to expose the kind of stuff that the Western justice is using to in fact put pressure on African sovereign countries. But in our case, it's even worse because there are so many reports that came out after 2008, after the indictments, from different sources, showing the link with the FDLR until today with the NGOs that were, in fact,
Spanish NGOs
that were at the beginning of this whole indictment story. That they've been even funded by a regional government of Spain, of Mallorca, 200,000 euros, to prepare the case, to have a case, and these people are still linked until today to the FDLR. And when we know that UN refused to fight FDLR, when we know that regional bodies have refused to fight FDLR, when we know that the other day Rwanda also denounced this tricky untold story showing revisionism and almost giving a red carpet for FDLR type of organizations and groups, it really triggers a question. So, and also this happened after Rwanda was clearly standing tall in their shoes about that documented the untold story, on the BBC, and their stand is firm. So is this like retaliation, or what is there? What is really under there? That is the real question. And there are really many questions to raise. And I would say also, I would question also the other partners of the UK in this story, of the EU. How can you tolerate that? How can you allow that happening? Germany made a fool of themselves when they arrested Rose Kabuye.
Right.
So is UK just going down the same route?
What is this going to do for relations between Rwanda, the UK, Rwanda, and Spain? What's going to happen there?
I'm not a politician, and I've. Let me see it in a cold way, in general, The UK has been using Rwanda. Every UK government has been using Rwanda because they don't have strategic interest here. But to have somebody like Rwanda, developing like Rwanda, like every cent that you give Rwanda, they can account for, and they give so much results, For them, it was nice to be associated to that brand, So here, you wonder, okay, guys, so what was our relationship all of this time? You've just been using because we're good guys, and now somebody told you we're bad guys? So I'm really questioning, and I really wonder, is this a wave? Or is this something deeper than that? Or you could have a season when you have people there who are at the affairs and who are more linked to eventually to some genocidaire milieux, because at the other hand, so many guys live there in the UK.
That was going to be my next question, actually, Albert. We've learned for so long, and we've come kind of used to seeing former genocidaires living in France. That has been going on for a long time now. And it's been a safe haven for them. Can we now say that the UK could become a safe haven for them?
But they are ready. You have a couple of guys who are there for whom Rwanda has asked extradition, and it never happened. And yet they don't try it, So, and they're quick on jumping on a file that was filed by a Western judge, by a European, And our cases of Rwanda, you know, cases documented, recognized by the world, and up to the UN.
This came out of nowhere, honestly. Where do you see this going, like in the next couple of days?
Or what's going to be the reaction, rather? Because we know the reaction of the citizens, but what's going to be
the
reaction from
the very first reaction is really put some pressure on the UK government to come out and have an honest explanation, because like I said, you don't have that level of authority moving from one country to the other without knowledge of both countries. So that is the first. Now we'll have to see how the UK reacts to this also, you know. And let me tell you, it is bull to say that the justice system is just impartial and independent.
And that it has no political side.
I mean, hard to believe in this case.
Right.
Well, Albert, thank you so much for joining us once again. Looking forward to seeing how this develops.
Right.
And don't go anywhere. Lots more is coming up. Lifestyle is up next. Plus, we take a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rising Shine Rwanda Lifestyle now. Makeda, what do you have for us?
I have the cutest little puppies you've ever seen.
I know you're excited about this
For
one.
sure.
All right.
They say it's a dog-eat-dog world, but it doesn't have to be. One nonprofit institution here in Kigali has made dog rescue their work, and so far they've given quite a few little pups new homes. Many think that owning pets isn't necessarily a Rwandan thing per se, but that may be about to change. Take a look. WAG is a rescue project for abandoned dogs here in Rwanda. The institution works with local trainers and vets to rescue and rehabilitate stray dogs to unite them with owners.
In 2012, we got an email about a Rwandan that had found a dog that was hit by a car. And they've been trying really hard to find vet care and someone to help the dog, but nobody would help. So through social media, they found their way to me just as an animal lover, and through an American vet that's working here. And through that, we started raising some money to help care for this dog, and WAG was launched from that. At WAG, we don't believe in breeding dogs, and we don't believe in buying and selling dogs. So we are 100% nonprofit. We do not charge people when they adopt a dog. We ask them to consider making a donation if they're able to help cover our costs, but we definitely don't sell dogs.
Aside from connecting individuals and families with dogs, the organization also sells products for pet owners and works with vets to make sure that these dogs are in good health. I spoke to one of the local vets they work with to find out how he got into the business.
Uyu mwuga njya kwiga wari ukiza muri iki gihugu, nari ndi nko muri intake ya kane, hanyuma kuko twakoze twebwe iwacu borora dufite inka dufite izo mbwa, hanyuma numva ko nanarize n'ibintu bya science mpita njya muri uwo mwuga ntangira kwiga muri kaminuza y'igihugu.
We've been told that so far more foreigners have been adopting dogs than locals. And indeed, it is widely believed that Rwandans generally tend to shy away from owning dogs as pets. I asked one of the WAG trainers why he thinks that's the case.
Mu Rwanda kubwira imbwa kuntu wayifata kuntu mwabana mushobora kuba mwabana mu nzu nta gaciro bari bazi nka mu Rwanda biracyari hasi cyane biracyari hasi ku buryo bukabije hari nk'urugero nkanjye hari nk'abajye bambona nkatuye nko ku muhanda nkazanye ukabona nago babyumvishe neza mu mutwe cyangwa akaba ari igihe mfashe nk'izindi ndi kuzitreninga ndi kuzigendesha mu muhanda ukabona nago babyumvishe nago ukabona ni nk'ikintu kidasanzwe muri bo ukabona ni ikintu kibatunguye biracyari ibintu bishyashye cyane ariko bigenda biza gakibona bazagezaho bakabyumva ariko mu Rwanda agaciro k'imbwa ku karacyari hasi cyane yacyari hasi yacyari byinshi byo gukora kwabwira ubwiza bwazo agaciro kazo ni ibintu umuntu agomba kugenda akora buri munsi biracyari hasi rwose.
If that is true, what can be done to persuade more Rwandans to embrace this culture?
ikintu cya mbere bakora buri ibintu byose ni imyumvire bifata igihe kuko gutunga imbwa ntago byoroshye ubusanzwe uko igihugu kigenda gitera imbere niko n'abantu bagenda babona isi nshya iza muri iki gihugu tuvuga abavuzi abo banyamahanga batunze imbwa bakoze iki kandi natwe tukagenda tubyigiraho bagenda rero nuko bazagenda bahinduka bazitunge kuko nabo bazifite hanyuma igihe runaka nikigera usange natwe dusigaye dufite imbwa nyinshi.
Well, no matter who's adopting them, it's great to see these little guys get a home. Makere Mahario, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
I like it. I really like it. Now, the thing with dogs in Rwanda, and I love the question you asked the gentleman in the report, is that, for example, calling someone here Imga, which is the name of a dog, is an insult.
Right.
There's still that thing where Rwandans still need to understand what the meaning of a dog, what it means, how it can help you. And you know that whole thing about it being a man's best friend? Here, for example, when you see a dog that small, they tend to say, oh, it's just a little puppy, it can do anything. They just want those, you know, Dobermans and those kind of dogs.
Dogs.
What was your feeling once there? Do they have a lot of Rwandan customers?
Okay, they do have some Rwandan customers, but like I said, it's mostly foreigners who end up adopting the dogs. But they do have some Rwandan people who adopt dogs, and I think it will just take, you know, people kind of getting used to the idea of having dogs, or maybe getting to know dogs. When I was speaking to Frances, she was saying that she thinks the reason why, another reason why a lot of Rwandan people aren't really into owning dogs as pets is because they don't really understand it, and you know, also they have a certain relationship with dogs because, you know, during the war there was a lot of dogs around, and you know, also some dogs, they're not trained, they're kind of, you know, aggressive. You know, sometimes stray dogs can be aggressive because they're on the streets, and so, you know, there's that relationship is not there. It just never really happened.
I also think it's not just a Rwandan thing, right? I think it's also an African versus Westerner things where
definitely
a lot of people, you know, look at how Westerners treat dogs, and they're like, how can you allow a dog to be in your house? How can you sleep with it?
Yeah.
And all that. What triggered you to want to do this? I mean,
well, I had heard about the initiative. Actually, I just saw it on Facebook. I had heard about it, and then I met someone who worked with them, and I wanted to know first and foremost, are Rwandan people actually adopting these dogs,
right,
or is it kind of like an expat foreigner thing that's happening here? And when I had spoken to them, they said some Rwandans are starting to kind of adopt dogs, and they work with Rwandan vets. That was only one of them, but they work with Rwandan vets. They work with Rwandan trainers. And the people who are there, they seem to really be getting into it. I mean, the guy, Blaze, that you saw in the video, he can like make them do tricks and the whole thing. So I think it's very cool, and you know, it's better there be somewhere for dogs to go rather than having them on the street. So even if it was only expats, or if it was only foreigners who were adopting these dogs, that would be, you know, less dogs for there to just be abandoned.
And it's too.
Yeah, it would be less dogs for there to be abandoned. So I thought it was really cool that they're even offering this. And even people, Rwandans that I know that have dogs, a lot of times they're Rwandans who maybe they've lived outside, or, you know, maybe they're returned diaspora, or whatever the case may be. So I'm hoping that, you know, more local Rwandans decide that they want to start taking up puppies and you know, have them as friends, because they could be great companions for people. That's another thing that they were saying, that people don't really realize, that, you know, they can be friendly. They say that dogs are the only animals that love their owners more than they love themselves, right? So they can be very loyal. One thing that they don't do there is sell, or rather adopt dogs for guard dogs. They don't really support it, they don't condone it. And I know she was telling me that a lot of Rwandans that do have dogs, they want them to be like guard dogs, right? So apparently that can be somewhat cruel for a dog, and you know, some people don't really support it if it's not done the right way. I think, you know, I think sometimes Rwandans just associate dogs with being protectors. They see dogs with, you know, police officers or whatever the case may be. So maybe that's just kind of the first thing that comes to mind. But, you know, I think this is going to be changing a little bit. Like they were saying in the video, mindsets are going to change and people might start getting more pets there.
All right, I like it. Do you have one yourself?
Yes, I have one at my house, but it's not mine. It's actually my roommate's dog.
Right.
But yeah, it's a nice, friendly dog.
I had a Belgian Shepherd and he got hit in this, like when I was a little kid, and it affected me a great deal.
Oh,
so for me to own another one, oh yeah,
Are you all right?
I think I need to go see a psychiatrist. No, I'll be okay. But it affected me a lot back then, because when you're a kid, the dog means everything to you.
And
basically.
you get any kind of pet, a cat or, you know, any kind of pet, you can get really attached to it, you know?
Easily, right.
So, but it's always nice to have that relationship. So let's see what happens with that.
Right.
And
great report.
Yeah, I think we have hot topics coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, the Rise and Shine team have been out and about, gathering everything you need to know about what's happening here and abroad, from what's trending on Twitter and Facebook to the debates in your local cafe. We've got it for you right here, right now. Now, today's hot topic is actually about a book that has come out. I think it came out last year. It's not necessarily brand new, but it is basically taking away those myths that we all know from that big blockbuster movie, Hotel Rwanda, right? So Hotel Rwanda is a big movie that came out in 2006, I believe. And it's starring Don Cheadle. It was huge all over the world. It made so much money, and people really, really loved that movie. But it's actually showing how the manager at the time, and it's supposed to be based on a true story.
Keywords.
Supposed to be based on a true story. The manager at the time, Paul Rusesabagina, he was the manager, and he's kind of made to be a hero in the movie. The movie kind of shows him saving a lot of people. You know, like he's supposedly responsible for why so many people were managed to, you know, survive the genocide. And a lot of people who were actually there say that is not the case. And we've kind of known about this since the movie came out. A lot of people have come forward and said, no, that's not how the story went. But Paul Rusesabagina, he's managed to kind of make a name for himself worldwide because of this movie. Yeah. So, and he's kind of riding this wave saying, you know, I'm a hero, and a lot of people are still saying no. Now there's this book that has come out by Edward Kaihura. He actually was at Hotel Rwanda, or at Milcolin, of course, where the movie is takes place, and he says no, that's not what happened at all. The book is called Inside the Hotel Rwanda: The Surprising True Story and Why It Matters Today. So this book is actually, so many people are saying this should become the actual reference point
for a movie.
Well, not even for a movie, but for the true story.
Right.
Even Hotel de Milcolin by Kempinski is standing by the book as well. Other survivors from the hotel are also saying that they support this book, and you know, the people that were there, they're saying, you know, this is actually the true story. They spoke to some other survivors, and some other survivors are saying they didn't even know who he was when they were there. So apparently the real story is that he was, for anyone who doesn't know, he was actually charging people to stay in the hotel.
To drink water from the pool.
Harassing them, and you know, if they couldn't pay, they had to go.
You got kicked out, right?
Yeah, they had to go. So, you know, now other supporters or other survivors, I'm sorry, who were there are saying, you know, let's take to social media, let's make this book a little bit more famous, and you know, let's kind of take away this idea that people have of Paul Rusesabagina being a hero. Yeah.
Right.
What do you guys think?
It was easy. It was easy when I let the guys say what's on their mind. But it was easy for him at that time to come out with a blockbuster movie, appear on Oprah, and then have.
He was on Oprah.
He was on a bunch of stuff. Trust me, back then. But he became so huge and so big because everybody forgot that it was Don Cheadle who was acting in the movie, but that it was a story about Paul Rusesabagina. But he had a political agenda. We got to see that after the movie came out, because then he allied himself with people we don't need to mention here on the show. But hey, it's I'm very happy that the real story is being told, that it's coming out, that people are actually engaged in this. Like they really want to share their story and push this book, and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. I totally agree with Hajis, and I believe this will help them get closure as well. I mean, it's always good when you know the true stories out there and people understand your pain, understand what you went through. So I feel like I'm really glad it came out, and all the way. I support the book personally.
I reviewed the book last year, actually. At around this same time, I reviewed the book and did something about it as we were going. It was during the Kwibuka 20 commemoration period, and I've read the book, and it's more of a collection of memoirs. Of different people's stories, and and Fidelis used the right word, giving them closure. It won't,
voice.
It won't be the real 100%, because you can never put back a life that was lost. But again, it tells the true story, and let Hollywood make the real the real movie.
To make another movie, here's a good.
You think about people who were there and they see this movie become a huge giant hit, and this person who kind of is not necessarily the hero that he's made out to be, getting all of this fame. It must be really painful. So I'm glad that this is.
He got a lot of money for it.
Absolutely. Had this been a fiction, it would have been different. But the fact that he was basing himself on a so-called true story and then made a lot of money out of it.
Changes everything.
We want to know what you think, so don't forget, we'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. So tweet us at Rise and Shine RW if you have anything to say. Like us on Facebook and send us ideas for programs, or tag us in your photos. Tell us what you think. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page, where you can catch all the shows and reports that we upload daily. Find us on Instagram and follow us at Rise and Shine RW. We're always posting behind the scenes photos. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow, so do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the beautiful Rise and Shine team, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.